today. I am Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to Intellectual Chocolate. This is the podcast where we will talk about anything, talk about anybody or any issue that comes to mind, any issue that affects the Black community. We don't ask for permission from nobody. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to set up my microphone here, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me know. I'm doing a microphone check right now. Tell me if I'm coming through all right. And I just realized that one of my cords wasn't plugged up. So give me a second while I plug things up. And I'll give you guys a second to kind of come on in into the conversation. As you guys know, my goal is to do the podcast on a pretty regular schedule. My goal is to try to come in and meet you guys every day about 2 o'clock Eastern time. Sometimes I can make that time, sometimes I can't. But either way, I'm always going to do my best, which means doing my best for you. So give me 1 sec while I set some things up. And do me a favor, while you do this, help me with the microphone check. Let me know if you can hear me, see me okay. Also, let me know, or do me a favor, share this conversation, share it around. I'm switching my microphone now, so I'm doing another audio test real quick. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me okay. If you can hear me and see me all right, then holler at your boy, say something on Facebook. Okay, someone says, we can't hear you. Someone says, perfectly clear. Charmaine says, I hear you. I hear and see you fine. Okay, it looks like I'm coming through all right. So what I'm gonna do is just do one more check just to make sure, because I just look awfully silly when I'm sitting here talking and there is no audio. So give me a second, guys. Hold on, here's a button I'm looking for. All right, you gotta hear echo for 1 second, I think. All right, so let me see. This allows me to see your comments. Okay, super loud now. Okay, Howard says even clearer. Okay, so let me know if you, okay, so you can hear me clear, hear me fine. All right, great. Thank you so much for giving me that clarity. I appreciate it. What's going on? I see Diane Toll is here again. Charlotte Covington, how you doing? Edward Wandrick, thank you. He says you're good. Ryan Laniel, Curtis Bryant. Curtis Bryant, did you go to Syracuse? Are you my homeboy Curtis from Syracuse? Curtis, I used to be the faculty advisor back at Syracuse, faculty advisor of an organization for young Black men. I can't remember what the organization was called, to be honest with you. But Curtis was with their president. And I remember Curtis was only a freshman, and they gave him a lot of shit for being a freshman. And I remember just kind of helping him toughen up a little bit and deal with the criticism and the controversy. And I kind of let him know that when you are the boss, when you're the leader, there's always going to be somebody that's hating on you, attacking you, saying bad things about you, saying things that aren't true, whatever it is. And you got to be strong enough to deal with that. Okay, so Curtis says, no, I'm not that Curtis. Okay, well, I can't remember what Curtis's last name was. That's the problem. And I should know the name of the organization, but that's how far back Syracuse University is in my brain. I literally can't remember half of the things that happened when I was there. I go to Syracuse. I don't know anybody in the city anymore, any of that. Victor says, Cincy in the house. I see Wah says, London's here. Oh, hey, what's going on from London? Curtis is in Philly. Okay, so Curtis, you got to come into our Philly office when we open up an office for the Black Business School. I hope you'll come by and visit. Annette is also from Philly. Cheryl, I see Cheryl Irvin. She runs a, Cheryl, please give the name of your school in the thread, because I need to get the name of your school so that I can make sure everybody knows about it. It's down in Florida, and the reason Cheryl's important, Cheryl is a brilliant sister. She graduated from Stanford. She is also helping us to coordinate to support as many African-centered schools as we possibly can. We want to support schools that are already educating our kids. You know, I can talk about what we're developing, and we are developing something to educate children. We have our Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program. You've seen others talk about, building schools and things like that. But what I realized was that it's a very basic thing. There are lots and lots of people who have schools out here already, who are already running schools. So I said, well, why don't we go ahead and also support the schools that are already in existence, rather than debating over, that whole issue, the whole thing with Umar. Is he going to build the schools? Is he not going to build the school? Well, I'm going to tell you what is a basic fundamental truth. You can't hinge the success of the Black community or the whole future of Black America and Black people around the world on one school. White people don't have one school. White people have thousands of schools. Asians don't have one extraordinary school that educates everybody. Asians have thousands of schools all through China and Korea and Japan. And so my thought is that instead of us trying to sort of get behind one initiative or one person or whatever it is and debating over whether this one person is worthy of us supporting that person, whatever, why don't we get behind everybody? Why don't we get behind everybody? You know, we don't really need black leadership, to be real with you like that. We don't need black leadership, not in the traditional sense. We don't really need a black leader. Like, who's the black leader? Who's the king of the RBG community? Who's the blackest black person in America? Who's the head of black society? We don't need all of that. We need thousands and thousands and thousands of black leaders. You know, if you got kids, then you're a black leader. Because believe me, you're going to have more influence on what your children say and do and believe than I ever could. I only communicate. A lot of y'all let me teach your kids, and I appreciate that, but I can only teach your children because when you allow me to. If you don't support the ideology that I'm presenting to your children, then your children will not gravitate toward those ideas. They're not going to listen. The reason that I hear from mothers and fathers all the time who tell me that their kids are in our programs, Black Millionaires Tomorrow and all that, and the reason that they end up listening is because their parents speak highly of me, and it opens the child to say, well, shoot, if my daddy's my hero, and if my daddy respects this man, then I respect him too. You know, Avril says, please get to the point. I don't have a point. Get off my thread, Avril. You don't like the way we do stuff here, then you need to go, sister. Don't be telling me to get to the point. I have my own platform because I can get to the goddamn point when I want to get to the point. So if you don't like it here, then you need to go. I know I'm being so dramatic right now, right? But I'm dead serious. Like, I talk to you like I talk to white people who try to tell me what to do. The easiest way to get me to not do something is to tell me to do something. I am not that Negro. I do not succumb to peer pressure. For example, I have a lot of people saying, well, don't mention Umar Johnson's name and blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna like stop talking about something just because somebody tells me not to talk about it. That's not fun. I didn't quit my job so I could go suck somebody else's. Stop it. I'm gonna quit. I'm sorry. I was about to get real crass, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get back to focusing here. All right. See, I wasn't gonna say because they got kids watching. I need to be careful. All right. So anyway, so I apologize to your children for being crass. So my point, going back to what I was saying, you know, in the black community, you know, we don't really need black leadership like that anymore. Like really, I mean, are you really that ignorant, black people, the black people watching? Are you really that backward and that immature and that unintelligent that you need some person telling everybody what to do? Like, can't you tell yourself what to do? How about we just give you information, give you some knowledge, maybe some tips, maybe some advice, so you can make your own decision? Wouldn't that be better? You know, I mean, think about it. You know, would you feel better when Barack Obama was president? He had advisors that would give him advice, but remember, every advisor has their own agenda. No advisor is ever going to really have your agenda. You got to know that. You got to know that, okay, this person Boyce is telling me this stuff, but Boyce's agenda is a little bit on the militant side. It's very, very pro-black. He's done some things right, but he's also messed up in some areas. You know, he's burned some bridges, and I got a boss at work and I don't want to burn that bridge. So I'm going to take a little bit of what Boyce has to say over here, but I'm not going to listen to him over there because over there we don't vibe, right? Like I'll give you another example. When I talk about the realities of marriage, you know, Miguel Nunez, the actor, you know, from Joanna Man, Miguel is working with the Black Business School now, helping us, you know, put together some projects. So Miguel was talking about his marriage and how his marriage wiped him out financially, and he had to start all over again because he said, yeah, he was comedian. He's like, well, she got everything. She got the car, she got the house, she got the, you know. And I remember just kind of thinking, yeah, that's the studies say that 70% or most divorcees lose 70% of their wealth when they get a divorce. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. Now, and so some people would say, oh, Boyce, you sound cynical about marriage. You're very cynical. You're very anti-marriage. I'm like, no, I'm not anti-marriage. I'm just anti anti-moving too fast. I'm anti-snap judgment decisions. I'm anti-marriage when it ain't gonna last. You know, a whole lot of people don't think it through, and they end up in these crazy situations. So, am I going to get married? Absolutely, I'm going to get married. Am I going to marry a black woman? Absolutely, I'm going to marry a black woman. I think I know who that woman's going to be. But am I going to rush into marriage because everybody else is doing it? No, because I look around and I look at the statistics, I look at the data, and I'm like, all these people are getting married, and 70% of them, 70% of the black people are getting divorced. And they're crying, they're miserable, they're stressed out, they're unhappy, they're losing their kids. She's mad at her baby daddy, blaming her baby daddy for her condition, and he's blaming the baby mama, and they want to hurt each other. I'm like, but they were in love like a year ago. Like what? Like, wait, huh? Jill Scott, you know, happily married, happily ever after. Now Jill and her man want to hurt each other. And I don't act like they're the only one. People act like these things are like one-offs. They're like, oh, well, you know, that just because it happened there doesn't mean it happens to everybody. No, it happens a lot more than you think. Now, it doesn't mean you should be anti-marriage. I'm not anti-marriage, but I'm anti-fantasy. I don't believe in fantasies. I see some people who are more excited about the wedding day than they are about actually being married and working through the up and down, complex, difficult, challenging nuances of actually staying together and not wanting to kill each other. But they excited about the wedding day. And I'm like, well, you do know after the wedding day, there's the actual rest of your life part of it too. Did you think about that? Well, no, I spent my whole life thinking about what color dress I was going to wear. Okay, well, that's a one-way ticket to a nightmare. So my point in all this is to say that, you know, maybe what I say about marriage, maybe it sounds cynical. Maybe it sounds anti-marriage, which it isn't. It's not anti-marriage. Maybe it's just not for you. So maybe that's the part of me where you say, you know, Boyce is good with this financial stuff, but when he starts talking about marriage and stuff, I don't really want to hear it like that, you know, or whatever. Then fine, cut that part out. And I think you should do that with everybody. And so anyway, speaking of that, you know, just talking about black people that are black leaders and things like that, or that see themselves in this way. There is a guy by the name of Umar Johnson. I haven't brought up Umar because Umar hasn't said much in public. When Umar says something in public, I talked about it because that's what black people are talking about. If you're talking about it, I'm gonna talk about it because I'm interested in what the community is interested in. So today, Deshaun Farad is an extraordinary journalist who works with Your Black World News, who was actually at the courthouse when Umar walked up out that building, and Umar got on the stoop and he gave a speech. And so what I said to myself was, I said, you know what, just to sort of remind people that I don't hate Umar. Like, people want to make it into, oh, you said his name, you must hate on him. If you go back and check the record, you'll know that I've defended him sometimes and I've critiqued him sometimes. But unfortunately, we got people that think that, oh, well, you better keep my name out your mouth. We're not teenagers. Like, don't be trying to threaten me like we little kids. Like, that's dumb. I'm analyzing. So what I'm going to do to remind the Umar fanatics that I don't hate Umar, I'm going to play Umar's video of what he said today. These are his words. These are not my words. I might give you my little 2 cents, but I don't really have much to say, but I thought it was interesting. And I want you guys to kind of see what's going on, because I do think that his case is kind of interesting in the sense that it's being spun in some circles as, oh, the state's trying to take down another great black man like they did Marcus Garvey, take him down on bogus charges, etc. But then there are other people who say, wait a minute, man, like, did you really do this? You know, are you really presenting yourself as a psychologist when you're really not one? Are you acting as if you have a license when you're really not one? Are you giving diagnoses to children when you're not supposed to do that legally? And truth be told, just between us, I'm not really paying as much attention to that part as I am to, you know, the other things. I think raising money for the school was an issue for me because I was thinking about all the people out here trying to raise money who ain't getting no funding, who have, you know, real schools and real projects out here. So the next check we write, we're going to write a $5,000 check at the end of the month. We're going to write it to a real school that does exist. We're not going to sort of get behind stuff that is basically an idea when you could actually get behind something that is an idea that's actually been constructed. Today, when I was sitting down there with Miguel Nunez and we were talking about our projects, I told him, I said, man, you know, I'm going to tell you the truth. I have very little patience for ideas that never get done. I don't care if your idea is the most beautiful, grandest thing in the world. I need it to get done. I need to see something real. Show me brick and mortar. People come to me all the time. Hey, doc, I got this great business idea. I want to know what you think. I'm like, I think it's an idea. That's what I think. An idea is in your head. An idea can be constructed in 30 seconds. I could construct a vision in my mind that is as big as the Eiffel Tower, but that's very different from building an Eiffel Tower. It takes more effort to build a 2-foot tower than it takes to imagine a 2,000-foot tower. Making it real, that's the difference between the talkers and the doers. That's the difference between the little kids and the grown-ups. When you start your business, your idea is beautiful, good. You got an idea. Now come see me in a year and show me some tangible results. Show me something that you built. Show me some land and property you bought and some brick and mortar that you put together to construct an institution that I can actually touch. Then I'll start saying, oh shit, we really got something here. But before that, I'm like, oh, you got an idea. That's so cute. I know 7-year-olds who have beautiful vision, beautiful fantasies that they can come up with very quickly because, you know, children are so creative, right? Because until you construct your idea, it's really just, it's a vision. That's what it is. So anyway, let me show you guys this clip. I'm gonna play this clip right quick. Let me know if you can hear it. I hope you guys can hear it okay. I put it on my YouTube channel. Again, just show you guys, I'm not sitting around trying to be anti-Umar, but I'm not a punk either. Like, I'm not gonna let you tell me like what I can and can't talk about. Like, that's stupid. To hell with that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the clip and show you what he said outside the courtroom, and you guys can kind of give me your take on what you think in terms of whether or not you think that, you know, what he's saying has some merit, or if you think it's nonsense, or whatever the case may be. So give me a second here. Let me see if I can pull this up without it looking crazy. All right. And so my man, I'll give credit to my man, Deshaun Farad, who got this footage. He actually went out to Harrisburg. Deshaun he reminds me of Forrest Gump in the sense that Forrest is always there when all the big stuff happens. Deshaun is always there. Deshaun is like CNN. Deshaun is always on it when it comes to the black community. He's a true servant to his people, and I love this brother for that. So here's the clip of Umar speaking. I want you guys to tell me what you think.
Dr. Umar Johnson, a Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Hold on. Wait a minute. See, there's supposed to be audio. Give me a second here. Hold on. All right, we'll try this again. All right, so we're gonna try this again with the actual audio instead of me pretending. See, there I go. I'm just talking about giving you audio, but I ain't actually give it to you. All right, so here we go. Let me try one more time. I think this should work. Let's see.
We live. Everybody get their camera out. You got 60 seconds. Your Facebook, your Instagram live, whatever you want to do. Did the attorney make it? Attorney Maddox, he didn't make it?
No.
All right. All right. Brothers and sisters, this is Dr. Umar Johnson. We are live, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, capital city of Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, for Dr. Umar Johnson versus the state of Pennsylvania. The case today was about a charge against me, accusing me of holding myself out as and practicing as a licensed psychologist without a license. The evidence that they showed, and I could not believe it, everybody here saw it. The evidence that they showed were 2 clips from my second and third Breakfast Club interview and a screenshot from our 2014 website. Let me say this again. This is the evidence. 2 clips from my Breakfast Club interview 2 and 3 and a screenshot from our 2014 website. They show no evidence.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys.
Dr. Umar Johnson, a Prince of Pan-Africanism. We live. Everybody get their camera.
You know what? I got a touch screen, and my touch screen is causing. Sorry, guys.
Dr. Umar Johnson, a Prince of Pan-Africanism. We live. Everybody get their camera out. You got 60 seconds. Your Facebook, your Instagram live, whatever you want to do. Did the attorney make it? Attorney Maddox, he didn't make it?
No.
All right. All right. Brothers and sisters, this is Dr. Umar Johnson. We are live, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, capital city of Commonwealth, Pennsylvania, for Dr. Umar Johnson versus the state of Pennsylvania. The case today was about a charge against me, accusing me of holding myself out as and practicing as a licensed psychologist without a license. The evidence that they showed, and I could not believe it, everybody here saw it. The evidence that they showed were 2 clips from my second and third Breakfast Club interview and a screenshot from our 2014 website. Let me say this again. This is the evidence. 2 clips from my Breakfast Club interview 2 and 3, and a screenshot from my 2014 website. They show no evidence of me having conducted a single evaluation, a single therapy session. They can't find any evidence of me having ever performed any work as a clinical psychologist except under the supervision of a clinical psychologist. The case was bogus. It was nonsense. The closing argument was that I do therapy with adults. Everyone who knows me knows I specialize in what? Children. And all my work is school-based.
And you never said you was licensed.
And I never said I was licensed. This is being done, and by the way, I asked to know who made the initial complaint against me. They said that it's confidential. Snitches. So it's confidential, and I have a right to know what it is or what it was. That is nonsense. I have a right to face my accuser. That is nonsense. And unfortunately, brothers and sisters, I don't think it was one complaint. I know it wasn't. Because every time investigators contacted me, they said they received yet another one. And I believe coons as well as Caucasians put me in this situation. But I also believe that the State Board of Psychology of Pennsylvania is jealous of the fact that an unlicensed certified school psychologist with a doctor of clinical psychology can have the type of international reputation that they do not have. And the reason we have to fight is because if we let them do it to any one of us, they'll do it to all of us. That's right. Sit together. And for those of y'all who have cameras, put that camera on all these brothers and sisters who came out here in the cold to support Dr. Umar Johnson. Because it's cold. This is Pennsylvania. It's ice. It's snowing. These brothers and sisters forsake their jobs, their livelihoods, their children. They got their own financial issues, as we all do, but they cared enough about Dr. Umar Johnson to come on out here. Brothers and sisters came from the West Coast, from the Midwest, from the deep South. Parents came with their children to support me, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you. And even if one thing I don't like about this is the decision gets made by the state board who are not even present. The hearing officer is only the mediator. So she doesn't make the decision. She makes a recommendation. She don't make the decision. She makes a recommendation to the State Board of Psychology, who you know can't stand my guts. So I'm saying all that to say, no matter what the outcome, we still gonna fight. Yes, sir. We got a school to build. Yes, sir. Douglas Marcus Garvey Academy, 82119. Black people will have the last laugh. 215 Raleigh Street, brothers and sisters. That's where we going now. 215 Raleigh.
Hello everyone, I'm Dashawn Farad. You're tuned into Right and Exact. We're leaving the hearing here at the State House in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. First of all, just to clarify, this was not a trial, this was a hearing to determine if Dr. Umar Johnson was practicing, as he said, clinical psychology illegally. But just to let you know, for those of you who are questioning whether or not he has a doctorate, all throughout the hearing, the presiding officer as well as the prosecutor referred to him as Dr. Johnson. I want to say that again. They referred to him throughout the whole hearing, the presiding officer as well as the prosecutor, as Dr. Johnson. So we're going to begin to wrap up. We're going to meet at another place. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm Dashawn Farad here at Harrisburg.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. And I want to say thanks to Dashawn Farad for covering that. You know, I thought that was really great. In case you don't know, Your Black World is actually a company that I'm a part owner in. Our number one goal of Your Black World is to be able to cover important issues that matter to Black people. And so we called it Your Black World for that reason, because it's yours, it's black, and it's a world that we control that's in our that's sort of in our possession, right? So with that said, I am I think I watched that clip, and I was curious to know what other people thought. This is one of the reasons why I played it. I didn't really have much of a thought about that, in terms of Umar, what he's doing. He's getting his supporters riled up and excited and everything else. And let me see. All right, so I'm looking here, and you guys on Facebook are telling me that I lost my sound. I know. Oh my God. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Danica says I'm good now. I'm sorry, everybody. I know I was getting all into it and everything, and I see y'all clowning me for that. But let's go back. So, okay, hold on. Let me see. All right. So Cheryl Irvin keeps calling me. I don't know if Cheryl's calling me to let me know that the sound went out or not. Okay. All right. Here we go. So Danica's here. Hey, Danica. She's very, very talented. And I'm sorry about that, guys. Just chalk it up to me being a little stupid sometimes. But here's my point. Let me just kind of reiterate what I just said. Let me know. I want to get a confirmation on Facebook that you guys can still hear me though. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me. I know you can hear me on Instagram. I know you guys were hearing me the whole time. Okay, take it from the top. What's up, boys? You're crystal clear now. Okay, good. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my microphone. I supposedly have a good microphone, but apparently it's not as good as I wanted it to be. But my point in all this is to say that I've had people kind of wonder why I might address an Umar Johnson type situation. They might say, oh well, Umar isn't. I've had people literally say everything from, oh, you must be jealous, to, oh, he's a fraud. Why would you even spend time addressing a fraud? Well, because a lot of people believe this fraud, and the fraud, if he is a fraud, a lot of people, believe in what he's saying. I think a lot of people are driven to support his message or anybody's message because ultimately they love the black community. They want to see the black community do well. And so, I think at the end of the day, whether we think Umar's relevant or irrelevant, I don't think that it's a matter of us sort of hoping for his downfall. I don't think it's a matter of us deciding that he's not relevant enough to talk about. I don't think it's also a matter, remember, it's not a matter of me deciding that I'm going to bring him into the conversation. He wants me to bring him into the conversation, because if you didn't want commentators to talk about what you're saying, you wouldn't say it in public. You wouldn't go and make a video and say, I want everybody to pull out your cell phones. I want everybody to put it on Instagram, Facebook, put it everywhere. You want a message to get out. So basically, what I did with this particular video, especially out of respect for Deshaun Farad, is I put it on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is 250,000 viewers, most of them black. And at the end of the day, I don't believe that it's anybody's right to decide who black people are going to believe in. I don't believe it's anybody's right. It's certainly not my right to decide, oh, y'all shouldn't be backing Umar at all. But it is my right to decide that people should have the truth about our so-called leaders and the people that we look up to, right? So it's up to you to decide if you want to pay attention or if you just want to call me a hater or get mad. It's fine. It happens. People get emotional when you tell them something that they don't want to hear, right? So, I think at the end of the day, I think that, with Umar, the sad thing is that we kind of missed an opportunity. I think that, when I saw other elders working with him, I think they wanted to work with him because they saw a guy that had a lot of talent. He has a very big presence physically and otherwise. They saw a person with a lot of potential. But then there are people who later on became disappointed because they say, wait, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Like, I called him and he doesn't call me back, or he cussed me out because I bought too many bags of potato chips or whatever. I'm being silly. But the point is, like, there were people that I know who are very prominent, very well-respected people who were just confused, who were just kind of like he's just not really a team player, and to succeed as a community, we got to play as a team. At the end of the day, black people, you're not going to win a community battle by being saved by Superman. There is no Superman who is tall enough and strong enough and capable enough to elevate and lift up the entire black community. It ain't going to happen. So, if you want to know my personal perspective, I am not a person who ever, buys into what I think is silly. You know, like what do you mean? You told me 45 times already that you're the most requested and you're the greatest. Now get over yourself and let's talk about the people. Let's talk about us. You know, like okay, you know, because really that's what a young man does. A young man who's not mature yet, in my opinion, is one who is into the ego part. Men, we have our egos. We want to prove that we are somebody. We want everybody to know I'm the greatest this, I'm the best at that, whatever, you know. And it's sort of like once you get all that done, then you start saying, okay, it ain't really about me no more. It's about other people. And so sometimes maybe it's just a phase you're going through. Sometimes it might be some sort of insecurity that you have from childhood that was never dealt with. Maybe you as a kid, you never felt like people paid attention to you. Or maybe you now suddenly, because you're famous and rich, you get to date all the women that used to turn you down back in the day, or whatever it is, but the community ain't got time for all of that. The serious people, I think, are looking at the conscious community as a whole and saying, I don't want to be a part of that nonsense. And wait, he's the leader? He's representing all conscious Black people? Well, I certainly don't want to be a conscious Black person. I want to go back to being a corporate Negro and a coon because conscious Black people apparently are all insane. Well, no, we should all be conscious Black people. And I think the conscious community, the RBG community, should be the first ones to stand up and say, man, quit lying to us, dude. Like, tell us what you did with our fucking money. That's my dollar bills I put in your bank account. You need to give me a full accounting of that money and show me some damn progress. Because right now you're just doing a lot of talking. You're getting real defensive right now for somebody who ain't took my money. Why are you getting defensive if you didn't do nothing wrong? Why don't you just come out and tell me what's going on? Transparency is a thing. Financial transparency is a concept that breeds economic trust. If you don't have financial transparency, then people will not trust you. I cannot have you give me a bunch of money and then say to you, why the fuck you asking me? Why the hell you asking me about that money? I saw somebody, Zaza Ali, who is a friend of mine. I told you, I know Zaza and Tariq ain't the best of buddies, but I don't give a shit. I love Tariq and I love Zaza, and ain't nobody gonna make me change my mind on any of that. But Zaza sent me something that was really funny. She showed me this picture. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Of like it was like kind of a contrast between how people act when they want your money, how they're all like you know, like they got the little kitten eyes and they're like, please, would you please give, you know, please loan me some money, blah, blah, blah. And then when you ask for your money back, they kind of give you this evil look like, nigga, why are you bothering me, nigga? You know, like, and to me, that doesn't make any sense. In fact, there's a whole financial concept around that, actually. A lot of research studies done on this. It's called moral hazard. Moral hazard, all moral hazard is basically when somebody is really nice to you, and then when they get all the power, they start to screw you. You ever go through that? You ever seen that? You ever seen like a frat boy who promises some girl the world and offers her, you know, all kinds of sweet nothings and whispers in and tells her whatever she wants to hear so that he can get some ass, and then as soon as he gets some sex, he don't want to talk to her no more. He's calling her names and all this other stuff. That's a real life example of moral hazard. There are thousands and thousands of research papers written on moral hazard, because it's not just people that do it. Actually, banks do it, corporations do it, and what they do is they actually have a concept called optimal contracting, which they say is the remedy for moral hazard. So that means for anybody who's trying to do business, here's what you got to understand: when you haven't made the deal yet, when you haven't made the commitment yet, you have power. The power's in your hands. When you haven't signed the contract to go work for the company, then you can negotiate a little bit better than you can after you sign the deal. After they get you, human nature says they're not going to respect you, because they're like, why do I need to respect you now? Because I already got you. So what you do is you put it in your contract in advance. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then you say, okay, now I'll commit. See, the people that get what they want typically in business and in politics and in life tend to be people who understand optimal contracting, who set everything up in advance, who pretty much just play hard to get. So women who play hard to get, you ever wonder, think about this relationship context. You ever wonder why, you know, you'll have a guy who will have some beautiful girl who's having sex with him whenever he wants and letting him climb through the window at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she's giving him ass when he's drunk, when he shows up drunk on a Friday night, and ain't talked to her for 3 weeks. And then the girl's hoping that one day he's going to come around and realize what a great woman she is. And then he sees her go down she sees her man go down and marry the little girl down the street with the long dress who ain't never had sex with him. Well, the reason for that is it comes down to moral hazard. Basically, you gave it up too easy. When you give your loyalty away really easily, then people are not going to pay for it. They're not going to compensate you for that. That's why the Democratic Party don't respect black people, because they know they can fool you into voting for them, because you're not actually going to show up and negotiate on your own behalf. You're just going to show up and say, well, I guess I got to vote for you because the Republicans are going to kill us and blah, 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 blah. And so ultimately that's a moral hazard issue. And so this is something we talked about all the time in my doctoral program. Like I said, I've read hundreds of research papers on it. I've written a paper or two on it. It's a thing. So anyway, let me show you guys this picture. I think it's a really funny picture. So this is Zaza Ali sent me this. Love Zaza, most empowered black woman in this country, in my opinion. And it says, people, when they borrow, and you see the little kitten eyes looking all sad and like innocent and sweet. And then when you want it back, I'm gonna show my friends on Instagram so you can kind of see it. So it's literally, this literally doesn't just define people. This kind of defines life. This defines business. You know, so when you go do business, make sure you are very, before you commit to writing that check, before you commit to giving any money, you need to play hard to get a little bit to make sure you get what you want. That's what they call optimal contracting. Now, before I move on, do me a favor, take a second to hit the like button, the share button, the subscribe button, all that stuff. I try to go live every day about 2 o'clock Eastern. If I can't make it at that time, I usually put up a little sign on the page to let everybody know what time I'll be going live. Also, at the end of this month, at the end of January, I am going to write a check for $5,000 to some African-centered school that is out here. If you want to get put on the database, we are compiling a database. This is for the people. We want you guys to know where the Black and African-centered schools are all around the world. We are putting together a database. Cheryl Irvin, a proud Stanford graduate, is helping us to do this. You can email teachourOwnChildren@gmail.com. teachourOwnChildren@gmail.com, and you can get in the database. And we're going to write the check to one school, but we're going to write more checks later on. It's going to be basically a fellowship, scholarship, whatever you want to call it, grant, or anything you want to call it, in the name of my grandmother, my late grandmother, Felicia T. Couch, who taught me about financial literacy when I was a baby. Also, so we're going to do this on a multiple occasions. And on top of that, we're going to also feature schools on my YouTube channel. So I have 250,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. This channel does not belong to me. This channel belongs to you. And I want to do my best to bring Black people to where the resources are, because I have figured it out. I have figured it out in terms of what it's going to take for us to elevate. It's going to take one basic thing, one basic simple idea: teamwork. Teamwork. It's not going to come from some superhero. Umar's going to be all right. Umar Johnson and other people, the Boyce Watkins, and whoever it is, the people out here that are just running their mouths, and all of us, and I'll put myself in that group. That's why I'm talking, right? I was talking earlier about how people just talk. Here I am talking, but there is something to talking, right? Talking is teaching, right? And so anyway, we're going to do okay. We're going to do what we can. But what I really know is going to happen is that Black people will elevate when all of us get on some sort of same page. Now, what does that same page look like? Does it look like every Negro walking in lockstep and agreeing with all the same ideas? No, that's not going to happen. You got too many different types of Black people out here. You got the bougie Negroes that went to Harvard, Yale, and Stanford, and Brown University. You got the street hustlers over here. You got the Hollywood celebrities over there. You got the athletes down there. You got the politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans up there. We ain't going to all see eye to eye in terms of what's going to help the community. At my event in Los Angeles, there was a Trump supporter. A chick came in with a "I love Donald Trump" t-shirt on, and was at the event because she believed that Trump's ideas were going to help the Black community. And I didn't tell her she couldn't come in. Now, of course, they gave her shit. But I told the people, I said, don't give this lady shit. I respect her. She got balls. She got bigger balls than most of you men up in here right now, because she came in here and said, this is my point of view, but I'm still Black. The Democratic Party does not have a copyright or a trademark on what it means to be Black. So being a Democrat is not what defines my Blackness. No different from playing for the Seattle Supersonics makes me more or less Black than somebody else. What does the Seattle Supersonics or what NBA team you play for have to do with whether you're Black or not? So no, if you want my opinion, I do believe that you can be a Trump supporter and still be Black. And everybody who's in that category, be proud. Because the reason you're here listening to me now is because you love Black people. You just have a unique approach that's a little bit different from everybody else. And it ain't like, and here's the thing that I thought was great. The woman was arguing her point to like 40 people that were all trying to shut her down. That's what we do as a community. We try to bully people into silence because you're learning that from the white liberals. The white liberals are doing that to everybody else. And the conservatives do it too in their own way. They basically try to punk people out, shut them down, kill their freedom of speech, bully them into silence because you're not going along with the crowd. Well, I say to the end of the day, fuck that. Do not go along with the crowd unless you have concluded internally that the crowd is going in a direction that makes sense to you. I'm going to tell you like this, the crowd will lead you right off a cliff. So if you are Democrat, I don't care. If you are Republican, I don't care. All I care is at the end of the day, we all black and we all doing what's best for our families. So to me, black unity means that, sure, okay, we're going to disagree. Sometimes we may even have fights. Sometimes we may have arguments. An argument, a disagreement ain't never been the end of the black community, because what happens with Umar and Tariq Nasheed and myself or whomever, that don't define what's going to happen with 40 million people. That's just some people who have big platforms on the internet who don't agree with each other. It ain't the worst thing in the world. It ain't the best thing in the world. It's just the thing. It's just entertainment. At the end of the day, what's going to elevate black people is when everybody on this podcast goes home to their children and says, I need my son to have a financial literacy level, a college level understanding of financial literacy by the time he's 12. I need to make sure my daughter can read, write, and do math at the highest levels so that she can be intelligent and be successful in the next generation. I need to make sure that I make good decisions when it comes to life insurance and everything else so that my family is economically fortified. I need to make sure that if I'm a mother, that I'm the best mother I can be, because the mother is the first teacher. I need to make sure that if I'm a father, that I'm setting a good example for my children and loving my daughter, protecting her, and loving my son and protecting him so that I can have a strong family, because that's the most important institution in my life. Because here's the thing, the real theater, the real stage on which black people will truly be fighting is a stage that has not yet been built. Black people ain't fighting in this generation because y'all ain't even a serious adversary yet. They don't even take you seriously. They look at you, they like these black people, they so cute. They sitting around, Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. Like, racism hurts our feelings and we need more diversity. Like, they don't even understand. They can't even play the game at a grown-up level because they don't have no weapons. They ain't got no money. They don't have the ability to think critically. Their children are not very well educated. They're never going to be a threat to us in the next 30, 40, 50 years. That's how they look at you right now. They do not take you seriously. In their minds, they're like, oh, the United States is about to go to war with North Korea. Well, we want the black community to kind of just sit down and let the grown-ups figure out how we're going to protect the country. You know, or we need to figure out how to do a mission to Mars. Well, we know no black people will be there because they're all going to go to the party and do the electric slide. We'll send all the white men to NASA so they can all plan how we're going to develop robotics and everything, because black people ain't really talking about how we can make our children into great computer scientists. They're trying to become basketball players and football players and rappers. So after we do the serious work, when we have a party, if we need a rapper, then we'll look to the black community. When we have our company, our corporate basketball game, then we'll look to the black guy in the company because he's going to be the superstar. But when we're doing the real stuff, when we're planning on, for example, how we're going to establish cryptocurrency mining facilities so that we can dominate the Bitcoin market, we're not really going to turn to the black community because the black community is just not a serious player. They're not adults. They're a bunch of damn kids because they're sitting around engaged in a bunch of bullshit. That's how they kind of look at you. So my argument is that really the real theater, the real battle is going to happen with our children. The children are going to be the ones who are going to be prepared to fight back. They're going to be the ones who are going to understand that there's a point where you get past. I mean, seriously, if I had any sort of concern about the Umar Johnson ideology, it's not Umar himself. It's the people that think that shit is cool. The idea that you have one person who can't really even put together a stable organization that helps anybody other than himself and a couple of other people, that you're looking at this person as a person that is going to somehow guide 40 million people out of the wilderness. first of all, one person can't do it anyway. Number two, what is actually being created that's actually impacting and elevating the real life situations of millions of people? I don't see it there. I just don't see it. What's going to elevate us might be, for example, in 40 years, there's some baby that's watching this podcast with her mama or his mama or his daddy or whatever, and he's going to go get together with a bunch of his friends who are all the highest trained business people and the highest trained scientists, and they're going to develop a corporation that's going to compete maybe in the auto industry, or they're going to make computers, or they're going to design some probe that with satellites that circulate the country. They're going to be on some old high level shit, and they're going to develop some multi-billion-dollar corporation that's going to employ tens of thousands of black people, and that corporation is going to go into communities, buy up entire blocks of land. They're going to go in, educate tens of thousands of children, and they're going to have the ability to truly stand up to the white man. Because here's the thing you got to understand about the white man. This is not me being racist right now. This is me just being realistic. The white man has won his battles by having an army. He has armies, I'm not talking about just armies like bang, bang, shoot them up. I'm talking about armies like, put it this way. I was watching a documentary about World War II, and they were talking about how the Europeans were all killing each other in World War II, and their militaries, they were like, oh, well, this army wasn't very strong because they only had 100,000 troops. And that's mind-boggling for most black people, because you would think 100,000 soldiers would be a pretty good army, but no, they'd be like, no, but the Germans had 400,000 or whatever it was, right? Or they would say, oh, well, this army was weak because they only had 300 planes. But because this other army had 2,000 planes, or this army was kind of weak because their battleship group only had 50 battleships that would sail together, so the ships kept getting sank. And the other side had 400 battleships. How many battleships do black people have? Do black people even think about that type of stuff? Do we even think about what it really takes to build and defend a nation? We don't. We don't talk to our children about that. Now, I'm not trying to say that we need to do all of that. I'm not trying to put that much pressure on black folks. What I'm really trying to say is that the ability to systematically, on large scale, mass produce what you're looking for is what makes a community strong. When I was in Paris, I saw this school that took up a whole block, and it was gigantic. And out of this school came, for the last 600 years, the French have produced thousands and thousands of young men who have been trained at the highest levels to commit their lives to defending the sovereignty of France, right? Do we have any institutions in our community that are designed to mass produce tens of thousands of young black men who are committed to the sole objective of defending and protecting black people around the world and defending the black community? We don't have that. We have nothing like that. We have these one-offs. We have these superstar Negroes who come out and tell you that they're the greatest thing in the world, and everybody follows behind that one person until they get disappointed because they realize that one man can't take on a machine. One man can't take down a machine. A man is mortal. A man will die. A man is flawed. A machine is what you need. You don't need superheroes. You need systems. Systems come from the individual. Systems come from us. Systems come from everybody walking away from this conversation and saying, what are we going to do? We're all committed to this grand idea of building up and defending the black community. All of us are on the same page. So I don't even need to talk to Dr. Boyce to do my part. What my part is going to be, I'm going to make sure that I got a 10-year-old in my house. I'm going to make sure that my 10-year-old is on his stuff. I'm going to make sure my 10-year-old knows black history. I'm going to make sure my 10-year-old can read, write, and do math. I'm going to make sure my 10-year-old knows how to treat a woman and how to be a strong black man. I'm going to make sure my 10-year-old knows how to start a business so that he's never going to be unemployed. And then I'm going to tell him, son, once you become successful, your job, your mandate is to get together with other strong-minded people and develop an institution that can take care of thousands and thousands of black people. That's what I'm going to do. So what I'm just trying to say to you guys is that a lot of the stuff that we see, it's sort of built on this idea that if you get in, if you get all hyped up and emotional and ready to argue and ready to fight and all these, catching all these feelings, that somehow that's going to help you rise. That's not going to that doesn't lift the community. Systems are, let me just give you an example. I'll give you an example. This comes from, since the World War II is kind of on my mind a little bit, because I've been watching a documentary about it called World War II in Color. It's really good. It's on Netflix. There was a point where Adolf Hitler, because he believed in his community, like black people believe in our community. I'm not saying Hitler was a good man or a bad man. I'll let you decide that. I'm not even going to tell you what to think about Hitler. That's how much I believe in freedom of thought. You can make your own decision. I just encourage you to go read the truth, because a lot of what you've learned about Hitler was actually fed to you by the Jewish community that had an incentive to demonize him unconditionally. Now, I don't think he's a good guy, though. But I think that if you go watch a real documentary about what he really did, you would actually find that, ironically, he has a lot in common with Malcolm X, in the sense that the German people were downtrodden. The German people were going through it. The German people had been humiliated in World War I. The German people had lost a lot of land. The German people were being slaughtered by the thousands. The German people had an unemployment rate of 30%. And Hitler basically came in and said, we're going to take out the coons. The government's selling us out. These other people are selling us out. So he got people riled up, and he became their leader. Again, you can go look at the history. I'm not trying to create no controversy by saying I'm a fan of Hitler. I'm not trying to be a fan of nothing right now. I'm just trying to teach. I'm trying to talk to you about this. So anyway, so one thing Hitler did was he was very good at organizing. He organized, thousands of soldiers. He built this, this really powerful war machine that was going through all of Europe and just kicking everybody's ass. And the French, he beat down the French to the point where the German soldiers were marching right through Paris, right? Like literally going right in their hood, right in the middle of their strongest, most defended point, and saying, we are here. And they pulled their own flag, the Nazi flag, up on the Eiffel Tower to say, we got this, bitches, come and take it, right? And so here's what's interesting. So it got to the point where the French were trying to negotiate a truce, because they were like, we can't take it no more. We got to, like end this, right? So they went to this little car to sit down with Hitler to negotiate what the terms of the truce were going to be. So you know what he did? Hitler wrote down his terms. He wrote down what he believed the terms should be. He put them on the table, and then he left the room. They were like, but wait, we have to go talk to our government, and we can get back to you. He said, no. We're not doing none of that. I'm leaving now. And if you don't sign that document, we're going to keep bombing you. Because he had a machine. He had a system behind him that was pretty much unstoppable at that time. And so my point in all this is to say that that's what power looks like. And that's kind of the brutality. That's the level of very calm brutality that the white man is used to when it comes to how he gets his shit, how he gets what he wants, how he dominates and obtains power. It ain't about like, who's more, who do we follow, Tariq or Umar or Lord, I know you didn't say that. If my guide ain't gonna let you do that to me, or hands up, don't shoot. Like, it ain't none of that. It ain't like very little drama. It's like, who's got the biggest guns? Who's got the biggest machine? Who can actually win the battle when we go head to head? And that ends the conversation. There ain't no reason to really fight. In fact, Killer Mike was talking about this. He said, really, when you hollering and screaming and trying to be intimidating, you're really kind of showing that you really ain't got a lot of power. He said, really, the people you got to watch out for are the ones who get quiet on your ass, because they ain't got nothing to prove. They say real G's move in silence, that kind of thing. The man who's really going to kill you is not the man who's going to announce that he's going to kill you. In fact, he doesn't want you at all to even think that he's a threat. He wants you to think that everything's okay, because that makes it easier for him to achieve the ultimate goal, which is to take your ass out. He might give you one warning, but at that point, it's like, okay, all right, no problem. All right, you have a nice day. The next thing you know, your car done blew up, right? So ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that for black folks, all the hooting and hollering is great. We get together with our leaders, and they get us all pumped up. Yeah, that's right. Woo, that's right. And all this yapping, and ain't nothing getting built, ain't nothing being created, ain't nothing being manifest. There's nothing at the end of the day that shows that we are stronger now than we were in the past. So after the talking's over, there needs to be some doing. There needs to be some building. Some stuff needs to actually get finished. So if you want to know my take on Umar Johnson in particular, God bless him. Go build the FDMG Academy. I hope you build it. I'll write another check. If you got black boys in there, you doing right by them, why wouldn't I support that? But I ain't sitting around waiting for the school to get built. I'm looking at all the thousands of schools that are already out there that can be built up further by the community. I'm sitting there thinking, we have all these other people that have systems in place, that have educational machines in place. Why are we so busy hooting and hollering and arguing over one dude when we could be supporting the thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are quietly doing the work? Those are the ones who are going to elevate the community, the ones who are the people who ain't got time to hoot and holler and fight on Facebook because they're doing the work. Let's support the people who are doing the work humbly. That's it. That's my pitch. That's my argument. I hope it's taken in the spirit that it's intended. It's not meant to kind of get into nonsense. I'm too grown for that. I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to sit here and fight with nobody like I'm 12. All I know is that time is ticking. We got only so much time to plant the seeds so that our children can win the battle that will take place in the year 2075, 2080, 2085. That is how long it's going to take for us to build the economic war machines that we need to build so that our children can have institutions that will allow them to sit down at the table without having to hoot and holler and simply say, well, if you don't do it the way we want, we won't write the check. Or if you don't do what we need you to do, then we're going to write another check for somebody that's going to take you out. We're not going to threaten to take you down. We're just going to do it. That's real power. Hooting and hollering don't give you nothing. It just makes you look stupid. It makes us look crazy. Anyway, let me remind everybody, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, please go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. The other thing is I wanted to mention really quickly, some people are asking about Bitcoin and all that stuff and what's going on with Bitcoin. First of all, I'm going to give $50 worth of Bitcoin away to someone who has a Coinbase account at the end of this podcast. So every day when I do the podcast, I want to send you some Bitcoin, and everybody who's won it so far, I've sent them their Bitcoin. So whoever wins, I'll just ask you for your email, your Coinbase email. Don't give it now. Don't give it now. But when we're almost done, just give me your Coinbase email address. I'll randomly pick a person. I will out of my account, I will send you $50 worth of Bitcoin to just kind of get you started. And it's my way of encouraging you to at least look into crypto. It's my way of reminding you that you're literally sitting while we're arguing, one of the greatest economic revolutions in the history of this world is actually taking place, where there are probably $1 trillion being transferred in wealth, billionaires being sprouted overnight, multimillionaires thousands of multimillionaires being created out of nowhere from the cryptocurrency industry. So I'm hoping that you'll take the time to kind of at least peek over and see what's going on, because while we're arguing and hooting and hollering, there are people who are actually building that quiet power. Remember, there's that old saying, walk softly but carry a big stick. I'm a soft, mild-mannered person, but believe me, my goal is to always have a big stick so I can defend myself and defend the people that I love. So that's what this conversation is all about. The other thing I want to mention to you is that if you want to actually take a look, we actually invented some financial flashcards for children where you can drill your children on financial topics. We have two types of flashcards. We have the regular flashcards that cover business and all different areas of finance. And then we have specific flashcards for entrepreneurs. So we have entrepreneurial cards. We also have the other financial flashcards. So you can actually go to financialflashcards.com. That's financialflashcards.com. All right. So let's see. John Ray says, I have that book. Great book. He's talking about It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. Well, thank you. Carolyn says, no sound. Let me know on Facebook if you can hear me. I hope that the sound didn't go out again. I tell you, I've had trouble with the audio. Let's see. Does anybody let me know if my sound is gone? If my sound is gone, I know on Instagram, I know you guys can hear me. So thank you for that. Let me know if you are on Facebook and you can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me. I'm going to keep looking to see. Let's see. Brian says, I love your show. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sydney, for telling me that you can hear me. Brian says, I love your show, and I'm deep into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Dash. Good for you. Yeah, I got heavy into Bitcoin. Then I started getting into Ethereum and Litecoin. Then I started digging deeper. We have a great program in the Black Business School called the Digital Underground that everybody loves. If you're in the Digital Underground, please mention it. Say something. Say I'm in it and I love it, or I'm in it and I hate it, or whatever it is, whatever your experience is, so that other people can see that, so that you know that this is for real, this is really good. And basically one of the things they do is they don't just teach you everything about crypto and all that stuff. Like, we're actually going to start teaching people how to mine Bitcoin. We're going to teach people how to get into these blockchain jobs where you can learn coding and programming. Like, I would love to just see tens of thousands of Black programmers that know how to really understand computers and technology for the next generation. I would like to see thousands of children that are drilled. I'm talking about drilled. I'm not drilled on the basics of investing, business ownership, and real estate. Like, we get drilled on football, we get drilled on basketball, we get drilled on how to rap. My God, why can't we be just as diligent when it comes to learning financial literacy? Why is it that we are okay with mediocrity in the areas that matter, but we will be excellent in the areas that don't matter? Sports doesn't really matter that much when it comes to actually paying people's bills. There's a couple of people whose bills get paid off of sports, but most people don't. Most guys who were all county, all state, all whatever in high school, most of them are never make a penny playing football or playing basketball. So give your children something earlier, drill them at the highest levels on something that's going to pay their way for the rest of their life. That's going to feed them and their grandchildren. That's what it is. Okay, so I see a lot of DU people in here. The URL, if you're interested in our Bitcoin initiative, actually is bitcoin.theblackbusinessschool.com. That's bitcoin.theblackbusinessschool.com. I'm putting the URL into the feed so you guys can see it. So feel free to check it out. It's legit. People that are in it will tell you how much they love it. What they do is they don't just teach you about crypto in all different ways, but also they actually analyze all kinds of coins all the time, every day, because there's over 1,300 different coins. Most of them shouldn't exist. About 80% of the coins are garbage. Some people say 90%. But there's that little few that not only have a sustainable business model, but are actually the beginnings of a powerful industry. And so basically, literally, when I invest in crypto, I just follow the recommendations from the experts, from our in-house experts. I literally have not bought into a single coin that they did not recommend. And I can tell you, you have coins like Ripple that are now worth $2.50 or whatever. They were recommending that to me back when it was like 20 cents. And I can say I'm happy because I bought a lot of Ripple. I was like, okay, well, y'all recommended. All right, well, what money we got in there? All right, put a lot of it in Ripple. So I bought a lot of Ripple, and Ripple is up to about $2.50 now, which is about 10 or I guess 15 or I guess 12 times more than what I put in. You don't get that in most investing. Stock market investing does not pay yields like that. Stock market, you're lucky if you get 10% a year, 12% a year, maybe 14% a year. In fact, I talked to a guy who's a part owner of the Boston Celtics, who's still not a very good investor though. And he said that he looks for 5 to 7% returns on his investments. And I was like, where are you investing your money? Like that sucks. So anyway, let me keep going. Let me kind of mention a couple other things. There was this interesting controversy. I'm going to show you guys a screenshot of it. Did anybody see what happened with the monkey incident with H&M? Where H&M's now apologizing because they put a Black boy in a monkey sweatshirt as like an ad. Like they literally put out this ad where it says coolest monkey in the jungle. Let me see if I can show you. You guys can kind of look at it. Ah, crap. And every time I always hit the wrong button. There we go. All right. So let me flip it around. So you see on the shirt, it's hard to see it maybe, but it says coolest monkey in the jungle. And so basically H&M is now trying to backpedal and apologize, for the ad. I think it just kind of reminds you of just how racially retarded the white corporate America is. They're just literally brain dead when it comes to understanding issues that matter to Black people. That's why, I'm not a big fan of staying in corporate America. They said H&M has apologized for an online advertisement that featured a young Black boy model in a sweatshirt reading "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle." The image, which was recently advertised on the Swedish clothing retail company's website in Britain, ignited an uproar on social media, with critics saying it was tone deaf and filled with racial undertones. Quote, "We understand that many people are upset about the image. We who work at H&M can only agree," H&M said Monday in a statement to the Washington Post. "We are deeply sorry that the picture was taken, and we also regret the actual print. Therefore, we have not only removed the image from our channels, but also the garment from our product offering globally. It is obvious that our routines have not been followed properly. This is without any doubt. We will thoroughly investigate why this happened to prevent this type of mistake from happening again." So people took to Twitter. They said, somebody said, so the Black kid gets to wear the H&M sweater with coolest monkey in the jungle. The white kid gets a survival expert. This is beyond disgusting. It's a projection of your neo-colonial thinking. You won't see me anywhere near your shop these days. One poster offered. Okay, so basically it's all said and done. Does this stuff bother me? It only bothers me to the extent that absolutely I agree that they should take it down. But, you know, honestly, I kind of started really reflecting on how unempowered it makes me when I'm a grown man who sits around complaining about what white people think about me. One of the things I noticed about all ethnic groups is that, you know, pretty much everyone kind of hates everybody else. Everybody talks shit about everybody else. You know, the Asians you know, a lot of they take care of Asians. They're not really, they're not really caring about what's going on with the Hispanics. The Hispanics, maybe some of the Hispanics don't like the Italians. Maybe some of the Italians, don't like the Jews. Maybe some of the Jews don't like the Arabs. The Arabs don't like the Dominicans. The Dominicans don't like the Puerto Ricans. All right, so you kind of have, these groups, these cliques that come together and they just kind of say, anybody who's not like us, we don't like them, right? And I think for Black people, we're kind of knocking on every door, kind of hoping that other people will like us and embrace us and not say anything to hurt our feelings. And I think that when you kind of have your emotions on your sleeve like that, it kind of makes you look very, very weak. I'm not saying that I would be okay with somebody making a joke that's offensive to Black people, but at the end of the day, I may not laugh at the joke, but I'm not going to say, well, I'm not doing business with you now because you said something and it hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings. Why would you say that to me? That's so real, my God. I just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, okay, I'm a nigga, you're a cracker. All right, let's do business, you dumb cracker. Like seriously, like I really wouldn't. It doesn't offend me that much, especially if you don't have power over me. And I think that what leads you to feel so offended is two things. One, you've been fed this lie that somehow you are a part of the American family when everything about America pretty much says that you're kind of like in the basement of American society. You're not really respected as an equal. I think the other thing too that is interesting is that I mean, think about this. You could call Black people, a white man could call me the N-word, and I'm supposed to get all offended and mad and upset and go punch him out so I can go to jail and all of that. But if I call a rich white man a cracker, he's just gonna laugh and be like, okay, I think he might be scared if I'm really aggressive, but he's not really gonna go home and say, dear, my self-esteem is hurt and it's just so hard to be a white man because a Black man called me a cracker today and it's hard out here to be a white man. Like he's not gonna feel that somehow my words control how he feels about himself. He's just gonna pack up his shit and go to his fancy office and just tell security to keep my Black ass out of the building. Like he's not really gonna be, sitting there butthurt because of what I said about him. So I think that, honestly, the Black people I know that are really serious, that are really out doing business, really out getting things done, they're not really sensitive like that. They're just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. I didn't like what you said. So I can't really get my blood pressure up and get all, outraged and up in arms because H&M, did this whole monkey Black person thing. I mean, I've always known that they're probably a racist company like a lot of these other corporations, and I'd rather just build my own company. So the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys was just speaking of just the apology tour, we actually did hear back. Some of you were asking about UCLA. And as you know, this week I was supposed to speak at UCLA with Common, the rapper Common, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Angela Rye and some other people. And at the last, we agreed. I was sort of like, well, why would UCLA want me around? Like, they don't really like Black people very much. But I was like, okay, well, this is for the Black Alumni Association. Maybe they got some real Black people in there that actually care about the Black community. And so I agreed to come out, and I was gracious and appreciative. I was like, well, thank you for inviting me. Sure, no problem. And at the last minute, literally the day before the event, like it was maybe 7 p.m., the event started the next morning, they messaged us and told us that Dr. Watkins' views are not consistent with the brand of the UCLA Black Alumni Association. And I'm like, well, do you have Negroes from another planet? Is that what it is? Like, are these Black people that are not Black? Is that like what Black people? I mean, if I ain't got Black people that listen to what I gotta say, then I have nothing. Like I exist for the Black community. We run the Black business school, right? The word Black is used, the Black Wealth Boot Camp. Like I use the word Black all the time. Black financial literacy. Like so I'm like, well, what kind of Black people they got that look? I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay, they got a couple of scared Negroes, the assimilationists. Those are the black people that I tend to make nervous. Black people who are trying to maintain a good relationship with massa tend to get nervous when I walk in the room because I don't have to bow to massa the way you do. Right? I walked away. I deliberately and strategically made an escape plan for myself so that I wouldn't have to get up every day and go to work with people who hate me and treat me like I'm a nigger. And so what you have is you have a lot of black people, though, who sort of rode the fence, who've been able to kind of tolerate the abuses, the microaggressions, the exclusion, the oppression, the mistreatment, denial of access to opportunity, all these other things. They've been able to kind of work their way through that. And I guess, a condition of their relationship is we're going to reject black people who call you on your bullshit, right? It's like the lady who gets the wealthy rapist to marry her and become her husband. And she's like, he's a good man. He just rapes people every now and then, but he's pretty much a good guy. And your friend comes over and says, F you, that man raped me. That son of a bitch raped me, and I'm not going to act like he didn't rape me, right? So I'm kind of like that. So I end up spoiling the party, right? Because you're working at Universal Studios or something, or wherever it was, or Pixar, whatever that company was, and Harvey Weinstein is the boss, and everybody knows Harvey Weinstein is old creepy-ass, ugly-ass, insane man who likes to do horrible things to women. But for many years, women were told, well, yeah, he's a creep, but don't say anything. Don't offend Weinstein, and so, but ultimately it took some strong women to kind of say, no, this man is a creepy, he's old Shrek looking, nasty ass rapist, harasser. He humiliates and mistreats women. We're going to call him on his shit. So ultimately, that's kind of what you need. But the thing is, you can't have one person do it. Like, you see the Me Too hashtag thing. That didn't happen because one or two people did it. It happened because thousands of people started saying, yeah, I'm going to talk about what happened to me in the past. So again, while I have been somewhat critical on some of the accusations, because some of those accusations are just people trying to get 2 minutes of fame or making up stuff that's unprovable from 30 years ago. But some people have legitimate gripes. Some people went through legitimate experiences and now they're not afraid to talk. Well, black people, we kind of need a Me Too campaign, Me Too Black. That's what I call it, Me Too Black. Like, where we kind of need to sort of be not afraid to speak up about the racism. You sitting there, you in the Black Alumni Association at UCLA or some other hoity-toity white school, whatever school y'all went to. All of us went to those bougie-ass white schools, which made us feel like we're better than other people, right? So you are part of this Black Alumni Association at a school where your school doesn't hire black people unless they dribble in a basketball or throw in a football. You got a school where all these racial incidents happen and they sweep it under the rug, where black people are being so mistreated that at UCLA, the black students went to YouTube and said, it sucks to be black at UCLA, right? Where at schools, at institutions like this, black people are being treated horribly. So instead of actually turning your energy on the actual oppressor and what he has been doing to you to degrade you and to destroy your self-esteem, you turn the gun on your brother for telling the truth. That's what it is. It's like, oh, well, you're messing it up. You're talking about Mr. Weinstein being a rapist, and Mr. Weinstein pays my bills. My God, I need Mr. Weinstein. And you can't come in here and speak ill of Mr. Weinstein. Just take out Weinstein and put in UCLA, and that's pretty much what you had with my issue with the Black Alumni Association. I'm willing to bet you that if I sat with members of the UCLA, I know graduates from UCLA who are in the Black Alumni Association who have reached out to me to personally apologize because they're like, I don't know what this cool Bobby Grace or whatever the guy's name, I don't know what this coon is doing at the top, but we don't support this at all. People that were supposed to come to the event didn't go. And they said, we don't support this. Miguel Nunez was going to go. He said, I'm not going now, man, because doesn't make any sense. You're not hurting anybody. You're elevating black people. You're teaching black people. What makes a black man a threat just because he's a fucking teacher? What makes me threatening just because I want black people to learn how to build wealth? What makes, did I run up in your house with a gun? Did I say I was going to rape your mama? Did I say that I was going to beat you up and take your money? All I want you to do is to be black and proud and financially fucking literate. Does that make me a criminal or a revolutionary or some radical insane person? That is what kind of defines the essence of our collective stupidity. When you literally are in a position where a person should be rejected because they're telling the truth and trying to actually be helpful. I ain't never, check my whole record. I might have cussed some people out or in my day. I've cussed a lot of people out, but I ain't never hurt nobody. I ain't got no criminal record. I am as educated as every bougie nigga I've ever met in my life. There ain't not one bougie Negro I've ever met where they can say, well, you know, Dr. Watkins, I went to Stanford and I blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, I turned down Columbia University and I got into their PhD program and they take about 400 applicants and accept about 10 people. And I told them I didn't want to go to their program. I went to another one instead. So don't act like somehow you're better than other black people. You can't outdo me with education. I probably have more education than you. You can't outdo me with fame and respect. I can go anywhere in this world and have people stop me on my way to the airport. You can't outdo me with wealth and money, because Lord knows I know a little bit about money and I know how to keep some for my family too. So what is it in the world that makes you think with your bougie ass that somehow you better than black people who are out here trying to tell the truth? What you need to do is you need to pull out a mirror and ask yourself, why has white supremacy made me so insane and such a ridiculous piece of shit of a human being that I am literally going to reject black people because they're gonna piss off the white folks? Look, you ain't got to agree with me. You can even tell me that I'm crazy. There's a sister named Lola Fumi, I think, that I was on a panel with Tariq Nasheed. Me and Tariq and Lola were on a panel at Cal State Long Beach. Me and Lola didn't agree on nothing. Lola's a black feminist, and she's got her ideology. And y'all know I think a lot of the feminism stuff, the white feminism stuff, some of it's halfway crazy. And I don't think it supports the black family. That's why the divorce rate is so high. And I think that's why black people need to come up with our own ideologies and stop following what white folks do. So me and Lola don't agree on nothing. The woman I love is a black feminist, and we don't agree on some things as well. But at the end of the day, there's a respect that's there, because we all know that no matter how divided we might be on political issues, we are all black people who are part of the same family. We are all related. So just like you look at your cousin at Sunday dinner, you're like, yeah, that's my cousin Ricky. He half crazy. I can't stand that son of a bitch, but that's my cousin, right? I'm gonna defend my cousin. And all that it comes down to a lot of times is just basic freedom of speech. Like, you ain't got to defend what somebody says, but you should certainly defend their right to say it. So I'm not really talking about UCLA in the sense that I wish I could have went. I don't really care about going to speak at the UCLA campus. I speak to hundreds of thousands of people every week. I literally was happy to be able to sleep in. Let me just be clear about that. So I don't need to be invited to UCLA. I don't really care about going to UCLA. But what I'm saying is that when I see some silly shit, I'm going to call it for what it is. It's ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourself. And his name was Bobby Grace, the poor black man that had to send this stupid message. And I'm reading this and I'm like, what this? I understand. If you don't like me for legitimate reasons, like I saw Boyce, he walked down the street and he kicked the cat in the face. And so he abuses animals. That's why I don't like it. Then I can understand it. But you can't point to anything I've done that's been harmful to anybody. The only thing you don't like, you say, give this ambiguous thing, well, his views are not consistent with the UCLA Black alumni brand. Well, now you're hurting the people that you're working with because you're making them look like a bunch of coons. Like, seriously, a bunch of coons who don't believe in freedom of speech. You ain't got to agree with people to put them in a room and let them talk it out. If your ideas are that great, you should be able to defend them. If you can't defend your ideas with evidence, information, and logic, then you have no point. You have nothing but your emotion and your fear that's driving everything you think. And there's too many black people out here. I'm talking about bougie Negroes who pretty much strike a pose and really sort of define themselves by their affiliation with some institution that a white man built, that will reject other black people because they're seeking something as basic as true independence. Don't do that. Some of y'all in here right now, some of y'all got these fancy corporate jobs and making good money, and maybe you're a lawyer, doctor, Indian chief, whatever it is that you do your thing. But don't carry around that white man's flag like it's your own. Let's be clear. Make sure you always know the difference between your shit and his shit. You can benefit from his shit, but that don't make his shit your shit. His shit is still his shit. But some Negroes get to thinking, well, his shit is my shit. boss, we sick. Massa, we did good today, didn't we, Massa? And they looking at you like you are stupid because they like, nigga, you ain't getting no parts of this check. You got to score the touchdown, but we gonna keep the television proceeds from the football game that millions of people were just now watching. But we will give you some self-esteem because apparently you people need it if you're falling for this dumbass shit that we're putting on top of you. So he reached out. He wants to talk about whatever. And I'm just being honest with you. Y'all know I just believe in talking about it. Because they do owe me some money. They owe me a lot of money. I spent money to come out here. I honored you. I did not disrespect you until you got stupid. And now, you know, he wants to talk about the money and let's avoid litigation and let's work together as black people. And I'm like, no, if we're going to work together as black people, then you need to act like a black person. If we're going to work together as brothers, then you need to act like you my brother and stop picking up a sword on behalf of white people who don't give a damn about you. Seriously. Don't come for my head just because I'm trying to get away from the nonsense, just because I'm trying to build something, just because I'm trying to teach PhD level concepts to black people on a daily basis. Like, what makes me a threat? That's it. I'm done talking. I'm just telling you guys the truth. It's stupid. It's stupid. That we need just an anti-stupidity campaign to just like whenever you see black people doing something stupid, racism, white supremacy makes you look dumb because it has you defending the undefendable. It has you standing up for people who don't care about you. It has you representing perspectives and views that don't even make any damn sense. You're following bandwagons like little children and you have no form of economic, political, or intellectual sovereignty, which allows you to independently define what your agenda and what your ideology is going to be. Black people have been imperialized in every single way. But I'm not going to be that Negro. I'm not built to be that person. And I believe a lot of you are on that same boat. That's it, guys. I'm about to go. Let me lighten up the mood a little bit. I tend to get a little excited sometimes. I apologize for that. And so what I want to do is keep my promise to you. I told you guys I was going to give away $50 worth of Bitcoin. So do me a favor. If you have a Coinbase account, you got to have a Coinbase account. That's the only account where I can actually send it to your email address. Give me your email, your Coinbase email address, and I'm going to randomly pick an email address, and I will send you the $50 worth of Bitcoin right after this podcast is done. Everybody else, make sure you hit the like button, the share button, subscribe button. I'm gonna try to go live every day about 2 o'clock. If I don't go live at 2, there'll be a note telling you when I'll go live. Also, so go to facebook.com/drboycewatkins. That's facebook.com/drboycewatkins, and you can come in and check out the lives. Also, if you come in a little bit late, the recording will be there. You can watch it any time of the day. So I'm going to try to keep a consistent schedule. Sometimes I fly around a lot, so it's hard for me to sort of always do the same thing every day. But let me go in here and, all right, so I'm going to pick an email address randomly. And now you got to be on the Facebook page for me to see your email. So I'm going to grab somebody off the Facebook page. So if you're not on the Facebook page, tomorrow, come to the Facebook page. I'm going to give away the $50 worth of Bitcoin every day. That's just my little thing. It's my little way of saying thank you for supporting what we're doing here in Intellectual Chocolate. Tell your friends, please. I want this to be the realest space in the world for black people to truly be free and for us to really plan for the next 200 years and to build empires that simply cannot be penetrated by anybody, and we ain't gonna be scared of nothing. So, all right, so I'm gonna randomly grab a name here. All right. Okay, I am going to grab Kyle Weech. So Kyle Weech, his email address is thebob25@gmail.com. So everybody give a digital congratulations to Mr. Kyle Weech. Kyle is the winner of today's $50 Bitcoin giveaway. Congratulations, little player. He looks like a young dude. I can't tell, but maybe not. Maybe that's a picture of his son. But now he's got $50 worth of Bitcoin that he can do whatever he wants with, and I will send it to you. You will get a message from Dr. Boyce Watkins, which is me. I'm talking about myself in the third person. That sounds weird. But you're going to get a message from me. My name will be on it, and it will have $50 worth of Bitcoin coming to you. So congratulations, my brother, and thank you for supporting Intellectual Chocolate and being a part of everything. Also, Cheryl Irvin, my beautiful sister out of Florida, she's not my sister, but she's my sister, if y'all know what I mean. My sister with an A. Anyway, my sister Cheryl is actually keeping a database of Afrocentric schools around the world. If you have a school and you want children to, you want people to know about what you're doing and get support, make sure that you send an email to get in the database. Email her at teachourownchildren@gmail.com. That's teachourownchildren@gmail.com. This is consistent with with our core set of core values. We have what we call the Black Core of 3. We believe Black people should educate our own children. We believe Black people should create our own jobs. We believe Black people should support Black businesses. If we do those 3 things for the next 50 years, then you will see multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar empires that are greater than anything you could ever imagine. It's going to happen with the babies. One of y'all got a child in here right now who may have a child who is going to be the one who's going to run that trillion-dollar company that's going to be down for Black folks and have power unlike anything that we can even imagine in this generation. That's how power is built. Empires are not built in a day, and that's what we're doing. We're going for the gusto. So everybody take care. It was real. It was great hanging out with you guys. I always love you. And one more thing, if you want to check out some of our programs for children on wealth building, we have a great program at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So you can sign your child up if you'd like to participate. Feel free to go take a look at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Be good. I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, and I'll tell you all about my adventures in LA. Believe me, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, but it's going to be good. So talk to you guys soon. Be good.